Time being 7 o'clock, I would like to call the Town of Copper Canyon Council meeting of Monday, October 10th, 2022 to order. If you'd all please stand and face the flag and repeat after me. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one today, under God, one and indivisible. First order of business number 2 is public input. Anyone may speak on an agenda or non-agenda item during this period of time. You're allotted 3 minutes. The council chooses to give you an additional time. It's by the consensus of council. First person I'd like to speak tonight is Kim Delaney. Hi. Please state your address and.
Hi, I'm Kim Delaney. I live at 330 Mobile Drive. And I'm just here to introduce myself. I'm sure nobody really knows me, but I saw a call for some volunteers for the planning and zoning. And so I thought, well, now's a good time for me to get involved in my town. My husband and I moved here in 2019, and we were very attracted by the equestrian trail, the elbow room, as I just mentioned, and the small town America atmosphere. So I'd like to help out wherever I can. And if you have any questions, I'm sure Donna has my contact information, and feel free to reach out.
Well, thank you for volunteering.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Brian Martin.
I'm Brian Martin. I live at 1535 Abbott's. Kim basically said what I was going to say. I've lived here for since 2018 and very much enjoyed it, and saw the same call and thought it would be a good time to serve my community. And if you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer them anytime. So
Thank you, Brian.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thank you very much. Ted Stranzik.
Good evening. My name is Ted Stranzik. I live at 1020 North Berry Trail Court. And I'd like to address just a few comments on this ordinance 22014. This is a well-written document, save and except one issue. The use of the words shall and should. The word shall denotes mandatory compliance to a subject matter in question, and we know this. The word should denotes compliance to a subject matter that is optional and not mandatory. When you look at this document, shall is used 4 times. Should is used 31 times. While the mayor is held to the highest standard of compliance, the council's participation is strictly optional in most cases. Given the real value and importance of this ordinance, the issue of the council's commitment and compliance to these rules of procedure and et cetera, it doesn't represent the high standards expected of elected public officials. Please don't get the wrong impression. My comments strictly address the wording used in this ordinance and not the intent or integrity of you, our elected officials. I therefore urge the council to reconsider approval of this ordinance as written. The ordinance does not meet the high standards expected and upheld by you and the residents of Copper Canyon. As I stated earlier, this is a much needed ordinance. It simply needs more shalls than shoulds. Thank you.
Thank you. I have one more, but I'm going to hold it for the agenda item that it's relates to. Next item, but anyone else to speak? That's all the names I have. Next item I have is the town council of the town of Copper Canyon we'll conduct a public hearing. I will open that public hearing on item A, the final plat of Quiet Hills Estates, Block A, Lot 10, A and B, being the replat of Block A, Lot 10 of Quiet Hills Estates. The property is located at 315 Quiet Hill Circle in the corporate limits of the town of Copper Canyon, Texas. This is a public hearing. Anyone that would like to speak in favor or opposition of this may speak at this time. Anyone speak in favor or opposition? Hearing none, I will close the public hearing. Next item of business is staff and mayor's report. Just an update on a couple of things that I've been involved in, and then some new information. As you know, I've been working with property owners of the town center. As I brought up last council meeting, the results so far, we did meet with the Buttons family, as I told you at the last meeting. We have made contact with the property owners on the corner of Copper Canyon and 407. It's about a half-acre tract there. They are interested in doing something with that property. Doing something is getting rid of it. We have put them in touch with the Buttons. At this point, that would be up to the Buttons to decide whether they want to do something with that property. It's no longer in the hands of the city. We made the contact. We got them together. Now it's up to them to decide if there's anything to be done. We did meet with the other property owners. When I say we, myself, Donna, Mark Pate, and I believe Sheila, were you there? And which owns an 8-acre tract. We discussed the Yad family. She is an internal medicine doctor, and he is retired, I guess, an investor. They own this 8-acre tract. They weren't sure what, they just liked it. When they purchased it, their thoughts of doing medical on that property. We talked to them about going ahead and zoning it medical. We gave them some ideas and some people to talk to. From what we understand right now, they're currently just working with a design engineer on their property. So hopefully, with any luck, if the Buttons move forward with what they have to work with, if these people move forward with what they have to work with, we'll be eliminating large section of 1/3 acre potential housing in Copper Canyon. So it's in their hands at this point. We've offered to help. We've given them suggestions. We've given them the information they need. Now it's kind of up to them to move forward on it. The Vickeries also are I don't know what they're doing with theirs. We have not met with them. We understand that the Vickeries have made communications with the other 2 property owners to try to discuss the overall plan of what may happen there. But as I've told you all before, my goal is to eliminate the 1/3 acre housing on 407 right now, and that's our goal. Hopefully that will work in our favor. Former Mayor Tamel contacted me recently and told me about some development that's going along on Copper Canyon Road. And I felt it's very important that the town knows about it as soon as possible. Right now, it's in its infancy with the Denton County, with the city of Denton and Denton County ETJ. Potentially along Copper Canyon Road and along the northern borders of Copper Canyon off of Orchid Hill. There's a tract of land in there that totals, there's a 77-acre tract of land and a 46-acre tract of land. It has, from what we understand, been purchased and closed on. As of today, I've made contact with a neighboring property owner. He told me that property has closed. There is a potential of a 402 unit, 201 building multifamily along Copper Canyon Road, just north of Copper Canyon town's borders. There's also a 46-acre tract that is another 446 unit complex on 67 buildings on 46 acres with access off of Orchid Hill, because the property owners, Fink owns the property that it abuts to it, and which owns the right of way. I don't know if any of you know Rick Donahue or where he lives. He butts right up to the Corps of Engineer property or the Fink property there. I'm devastated for him because it is probably the most beautiful site there is. It used to be a home built there by some famous architect years ago that burnt down. And but this has not, there's no formal presentation to the city yet, but it is coming. I can assure you that we are going to monitor this and keep the town informed. Don is going to have communications with them tomorrow, I believe. But this is already out there, and I think it's very important that I bring it up and make a statement on it, that this is something that we will have to deal with. It's on our borders. However, it will affect our roads and it will affect our traffic to a great extent. If you can imagine 446 units, 2 people per unit, pouring out on Orchid Hill at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's not going to be good. So we need to, I asked Bob Hager today, I sent him all the information I have. I asked him we need to start getting some legal plans together to see what we can do to be in place, to be proactive here instead of reactive later. So I want to update the council on that. Anything else, council or staff report? Next item is consent agenda. Any item on the consent agenda may be removed by any members of council for individual discussion or consideration. Council, I'd like to remove the number 2, which is approved resolution 2205, establishing a Copper Canyon Youth Council. We'll remove that. Is anything else to be removed? I'd entertain a motion to approve 1, 3, and 4. I have a motion by Councilmember Andrews to approve consent agenda items 1, 3, and 4. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is approval of a resolution 22-05 establishing Copper Canyon Youth Council. And a gentleman here, David Gibson, would like to speak in regards to that. David?
Well, good evening. My name is David Gibson. I'm a resident of 715 Copperwoods Lane. Oh. Yeah, hello.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go.
I'm a resident of 715 Copperwoods Lane, and I would like to talk to you today about the positions of Youth Council and Town Council Youth Representative. These positions are intended to fill 3 primary purposes. First, to engage youth in town government. This would include sending out minutes without legal jargon of the meetings afterward and encouraging them to attend meetings and more. Second, the position would provide feedback to the town council whenever a policy is proposed that would affect younger residents. I'm not sure what that would look like yet. I'm looking for your guidance on that. Third, the position would help support the town administrator or the town itself in any way that the town sees fit, both individually and by organizing youth volunteers for those purposes. I was talking with Donna about the luncheon this January, preparing for things like that. In sum, the Town Council Youth Representative and Youth Council are there to provide a voice for the youth of Copper Canyon in local government. Currently, the younger population of this town, including the many people that might be moving into the new development in the future, are normally not involved in town government. And it may be that some of the youth feel slightly alienated from any local government. At the risk of circular logic, to allow this youth to become involved, we need a program that allows them to get involved. I believe that program is the Youth Council and the Town Council Youth Representatives. I would be honored to help solve these problems in the position of the Town Council Youth Representative. As both a younger resident of the town and a person who has attended a lot of the meetings over the past year, I feel that I can bring a unique perspective and help increase the functioning of the Town Council. From my current position as the Vice President of the Junior Board at the Dallas Holocaust and Human Rights Museum, I have experience with the demands of a position that involve organizing others, providing feedback, and creating new ideas. My aim is to create a position that will last after I leave for college and will provide a positive experience to young people in Copper Canyon that want to get involved in the government. I'm excited to help other youth in Copper Canyon become more involved. I appreciate your time and consideration, and I'm able to answer any questions you might have. Thank you.
David, I think this is a great thing. I had an opportunity to experience this in my council days back in Coppell, and we had youth in government. And we actually had the people like you, the kids, the students would come in and they would run the meetings. They would take over the council for the evening. And it was a lot of fun. So I don't know, that's
Sounds
maybe
fun.
something to think about.
Awesome, thank you.
Council, any questions or comments? Thank you very much. Council, any comments? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I think this is a great idea. I am a proponent of, one, we have a great town, we have great residents. We need to get young people involved in what we're doing in this town. And Ron, I commend you and Donna for being receptive to this because I think it's a great idea.
I think Steve actually was very instrumental in bringing this forward and helpful too.
Thank you, Steve.
Well, I wasn't gonna say anything, but since you brought my. And David and I have been conspiring for this for some time, but he's great, and I think, he's set up, as you said, the young people who want to make a difference and opportunity, so.
Yeah, I have said forever that we have incredibly talented people in this town. And unfortunately, I think we overlook the younger people and come on, get involved. We need the energy. We need your time. We need your commitment. We got lots to do in this little town.
Yeah, David, thank you. Appreciate you stepping up. Like yourself, being pretty young, comparatively. It was, like you said, balance, I think, and, there's not an avenue for younger folks to get involved. I think this is, great start, and look forward to seeing what you do with it.
Council, entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
A second.
I have a second by Council Member Liebert. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion, consideration of acting upon the recommendation by the Planning and Zoning Commission regarding the final plat of Quiet Hill Estates of Lot 10A and 10B. Council, this is a result of the public hearing that I had closed a few minutes ago. Any questions on this item? If not, I'd entertain a motion. Is there a motion to approve?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve this block. Well, let's see, I'm looking at the ordinance, I was misplacing my notes here, but anyway,
No problem. Quiet Hill
Quiet
Estates.
Hill.
Yep. Lot A,
Lot 8.
Block NB.
I had a chance to speak to this.
Yep.
I had a chance, oh, sorry. Thank you. I had a chance to drive by and look at the property to see exactly what was going on. So I knew it in my mind, I knew it, but I wanted to refresh it. And this really makes a lot of sense what they're doing here. They've taken a piece of property with a big old pond on it that can hardly build a house on it, the way it sits and all this, but it's going to join. So I think it's going to be a great addition to what's happening in the neighborhood.
Good deal.
So I'll make the motion there. So.
I have a motion by Councilmember Andrews. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Next item is discussion and consideration of taking action and nominating the Planning and P&Z Planning and Zoning Commissioners and alternates and all matters related here too. Council, we had normally we'd have interviews. However, we had just enough applicants for the vacant spots that we had for P&Z and BOA, Board of Adjustments. We had 5 applicants for the P&Z, 2 of which are returning commissioners and 3 which were alternates. We had 4 applications for BOA, 3 of which were returning board members, and in addition, Lily Mullen also submitted her application for the Trails Committee. So we reappoint others at the suggestion of, or the approval of this council. Council member, Deputy Mayor Pro Tem, would you read how these will be and in what order? First alternate, second.
Yes, Mayor, for the P&Z Commissioners, Mark Pape to remain as the chairman of the P&Z Committee, and Sean Sandiford also to remain in place 4. P&Z alternates, place 1, Kimberly Delaney. place 2, Brian Martin, and place 3, Ted Stranzik. For the BOA commissioners, Dave Savatic for place 2 and Aaron Mestis, both of them are returning, I believe, from previous stints in that office. And alternate 1, Paul Dietz, alternate 2, Gary Coleman. And I would propose that as a motion to accept those names in those orders as the volunteers for the P and Z and the Board of Adjustment.
Would you also consider making a motion to do items 2 and 3 together, as stated?
Yes, both the BOA for items 2 and 3 and for the P and Z.
I have a motion by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. Does any, give me a second. No,
Second.
I have a second by the Mayor Pro Tem. Any discussion, council? Any changes? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion. Motion or vote? Already got a motion. Vote.
Aye.
Unanimous?
I,
Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you very much. So in just perspective, Kimberly, you would be first alternate, and anytime there's a vacancy or someone can't make a P and Z, you will be called on first. If you can't, and then goes on Brian and then Ted. So, okay. And then if there's a vacancy that comes on the P and Z for any reason, you would be moved up first into a permanent position on P and Z. And then it goes like that. Okay. Next item is discussion, consideration, taking action regarding ordinance 22-014, amending chapter 1 of the general provision, article 1.03 of the town council division 2 meeting and the rules and procedures by amending section 103-045 rules and procedures by adding new section. Councilmember Johnson, this is your baby.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this ordinance has been a journey. There was what I think is a good discussion from winter of 2021 in terms of a code of ethics, and what the commitment was in the new council was we were going to look at what would be an appropriate ordinance. And this was not something we rushed. Donna and I took a bit of time with Bob Hager to understand what could be done. And I think one of the things that's it's very interesting for the town to understand is that given the category of our town is legally in the state of Texas, there actually are pretty serious constraints as to what can be done with behavior of council members. And the reality is that there are 2 sanctions that can be imposed with respect to inappropriate behavior, and that would be censorship or removal from commissions or boards. And I thought that was the rule, but I wasn't sure. And we spent a lot of time on this, and we're not going to change the law in the state of Texas on this, but yeah, the reality is in a town like Copper Canyon, it would be very detrimental if a council member engaged in inappropriate behavior that fell within this ordinance, because it would say, look, these are the rules. The other thing that I had suggested to Donna and to Ron was that I believe in every election cycle, we should have a specific class where any new council member is going through the specifics of the ordinance. And I will say, from my standpoint, it's sobering when you read it and think about it. We all should look at it and read it and think about it, that probably we can find some better angels in this. And in doing so, bring better governance to our town. So I think the ordinance is good. I appreciate Ted's comments on the should versus the shall. I'm not opposed to this. I would say for tonight, I'm not sure people are willing to amend on that. But if there are any other amendments or suggestions, I'm willing to accept it. Look, this is something that is new for our town, and I think it is good. I think it will make for better behavior on our councils. So I encourage the council to support this, but you know, if anybody's got any specific amendments, and again, Ted, I'm not opposed to in the future coming back on the should, okay?
Any council, any comments?
Mayor, if I could, I have a couple of comments on this, and Larry, thank you so much for working. I know you worked really hard on putting this together, and this kind of an ordinance is a dicey proposition because of all the legalities and the fact that there's so many unknowns and things that you're dealing with when it comes to people that have volunteered to conduct town government. So thank you for working on this. I know a lot of effort and energy went into this. The only issue that I have with the document I was given on page 2, item H, it discusses that a council member should engage in any enforcement of state laws or local ordinances, activities with residents, local businesses, or developers. The issue I have with that is that there have been instances where people in our town government thought that they were the ordinance enforcers and went well beyond the bounds of what they should have been doing. In my opinion, this should be taken out, because if you read this improperly, that's what you're going to end up with. And that could happen again in the future. So I would be more than willing to support this if we could pull that item from the ordinance as written. And just a minor editing issue on page 8, under item 5, inappropriate behavior can lead to removal. I believe that the word "or" should be removed on the second sentence where it says that the mayor should counsel the offending member, and it's just a grammatical issue. But those are the only two things on, and I read this several times as closely as I could to try to ensure that the spirit of what we're trying to do gets across to future councils, because for us, we're all pretty much where we are today and everybody's happy with it. This is going to affect a lot of people coming down in the future. I don't know how you guys feel about that, but those are my only 2 comments.
Your comments, council?
I would accept those 2 amendments.
Okay. Any other comments, council? Dale?
No, Rudy, I think you're right on. We don't want this to be something that gives council members teeth to come after our residents for things that they might find inappropriate. It's not our role to do that. So I think that's a good comment. Just a grammatical error on number 2, page 9. Reading it, it looks like there should be a separation there, comma, or to the town attorney, comma, staff, comma, who do not follow proper conduct. I don't know. Goes through a check after this.
I would accept that amendment also. That is correct.
Do we have notes of
I've
that?
read this thing so many times. I
Right.
apologize. I missed that one.
All right. You have those notes, Donna, Sheila, or you'll make those changes? Okay. Okay. Anything else, council? Not, council, I entertain a motion. This is a code to approve this code of conduct, item number 4.
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance number 22-014. The town of Copper Canyon amending the code of ordinances as stated.
I have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Is there a second? I have a second by Councilmember Andrews. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Real quick, council, I'm going to go back to a staff report, a mayor's report, just to keep the council updated and the citizens updated on what we get to deal with sometimes and things that come across us that we have to make quick decisions on, and hopefully for the betterment of the whole town. We were presented an opportunity by a developer and a landowner recently to Briarwood Retreat. They want to sell off their property and they want to develop it into 2-acre and 1-acre residential. However, they wanted also to sell a community center that was built in 2007 with 4 acres of land to the town for a $3.3 million. And I've met with these people twice now, actually 3 times, and every time I met with them, I told them I just didn't think this was something the town would want to do, but they kept coming back. But so the last time we met, I said, I will run this through the council. I individually called the council and let them know what was out there and what was going on. So instead of holding the special meetings or anything like that. And the wisdom I got from Councilmember Johnson and Mayor Pro Tem was helpful. You know, when we look at this, no matter what we paid for that, we could have bought it for $200,000, you know, but there was going to be a zoning attached to it. What optically was just not right. If people would have looked at us and said, you're going to buy this land, but you're going to give them some special zoning, some PD or whatever they may looking for. And we don't, first of all, we didn't need the land. Second of all, what we have works for this town. Larry was very correct. 20 years from now, we may be looking back saying this was a good idea and we should have bought it. But just, you know, we can't go out and sell bonds for $3 million and put this town in that kind of debt for something we think might happen in 20 years, especially at what money costs today. So I made the decision to deny or turn down the offer. It never came through the council before because it was just not something that was realistic. So just wanted to update the council and, you know, let you know.
Ron, the other thing to remember on that offer, it was the classic quid pro quo. We want something, we'll give you something. And it's like, nope, that ain't gonna happen.
So, you know, they will be coming forward as a development at some point. They're going to be looking for a zoning change. Buying a building was not something we should attach to that. So, any comments on that or questions?
Well, I think it's the ordinance we just passed in practice.
Yep.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think ethics are sometimes amorphous, but when you start to think about them in ethical terms, quid pro quo, there was no price that was worth that, free or whatever. So the town is not going to engage in that kind of negotiation. I think town people expect us to have that level of ethics, and that's what we practice. So that was it.
Great. Okay, that's all I have tonight. Oh, go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to also approach that subject because I know when we ran for council, we said we would do the right thing with the information we had at that time. And right now, I believe this is the right thing we're doing right now. I've not discussed this in deeply with them, but that's my belief. And I think if we go along and do the right thing every day, then you can never look back with too many regrets. And I know it may be a great deal in 20 years. It could be that, but not today. Not today.
All right. That's all I have tonight, council. Is there anything that anybody would like to put on a future agenda? Hearing none, time being 7:35, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion that we adjourn.
I have a motion by the Deputy Mayor Pro Tem. Is there a second? Second by the Mayor Pro Tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous, motion carries.